It was a Thursday evening in Maplewood, a quiet suburb just outside Chicago. The sun had barely dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a canvas of pastel orange and deep indigo. For Sarah Mitchell, a high school junior known for her quiet nature and love of sketching, this night was supposed to be just like any other, uneventful, peaceful, forgettable. She sat in her room, soft indie music drifting from her speakers, sketchpad balanced on her knees. Her dog, Max, a golden retriever with a perpetual puppy grin, lay sprawled out at her feet. Sarah's parents were out for their weekly dinner date, and her little brother, Jake, was at a sleepover. The house was still. She was halfway through a sketch of a city skyline when the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then total darkness. Sarah blinked into the sudden void. The music stopped. Max sat up, ears perked. "Okay, weird," she muttered, reaching for her phone. The screen glowed. Thankfully, her phone still worked. She checked the local energy app. Power outage. Estimated fixed time, 3 hours. "Great," she mumbled, patting Max's head. "Guess it's candles and boredom for us." She made her way downstairs, phone flashlight in hand, and started lighting a few scented candles from the kitchen drawer. As the warm, flickering glow began to fill the room, Sarah noticed something strange. The street outside was darker than usual. No porch lights. No car headlights. Just an eerie stillness, as if the entire block had gone to sleep mid-sentence. Then she saw it. A soft blue light, barely visible, glowing from the park across the street. Curiosity, that wild spark so often hidden beneath Sarah's demeanor, flared. She grabbed a flashlight from the hallway drawer, clipped Max's leash to his collar, and stepped out. Maplewood Park wasn't big. Just a looping trail, a small pond, a few benches, and a playground. Sarah had walked it hundreds of times. But tonight it looked different. Trees loomed taller. The silence was deeper. And the blue glow, pulsating like a heartbeat, was coming from the old gazebo at the center. Max pulled on the leash, tail wagging. "Easy, buddy," she whispered. As they approached, Sarah's breath caught. The light was coming from something small and metallic on the ground. She crouched down. It looked like a ring, a strange, swirling symbol etched on its surface. She reached for it, and the world tilted. Not dramatically. Not like in movies. Just enough for her stomach to lurch. A rush of wind, the smell of ozone, and then she was standing in her room again. But something was off. Candles were still burning, but her sketchpad was gone. The music was back, playing a different song. Max was sitting on her bed, wagging his tail as if nothing had happened. Sarah blinked, checked her phone. 9:03 p.m. That couldn't be. She'd left at 9:03. She ran downstairs. Her parents were back, laughing in the kitchen. "Hey, hon," her mom said. "Power came back quick, huh?" Sarah's voice trembled. "You were supposed to be out till 10. Her dad looked confused. "We left hours ago. Got back around 8. She ran to the living room. The street outside looked normal. Porch lights were on. The world was fine. But Sarah wasn't. Because clutched in her hand was the ring. Over the next week, Sarah tried to forget the incident. She couldn't. Every night she dreamt of the park. Of different versions of it, one with red skies, one flooded, one filled with statues of people she knew. She started sketching what she saw. Her sketchbook became filled with surreal landscapes, alternate versions of her school, her home, even herself. Then one night, Max barked at her closet. Growled. She approached slowly, heart pounding. Pinned it. Nothing. Until she looked down. Another ring. This one gold. A different symbol. She didn't touch it this time. Instead, she took it to her science teacher, Mr. Bennett. He was the only person who might not think she was crazy. Through a long pause, he leaned back in his chair. "You said you touched the first one?" She nodded. He scratched his chin. "Sarah, what you're describing sounds like a form of interdimensional fluctuation. Theoretically, if alternate realities exist side by side, something like this, he held up the gold ring, could be a key. A key to where? Anywhere. Every choice we don't make creates a new reality. You may have slipped into one. Or, he hesitated, you brought something back from one. That night, she locked the second ring in a drawer and tried to sleep. Didn't work. The dreams intensified. In one, she saw herself standing in the park, surrounded by a crowd of people, all wearing her face. They whispered in unison, choose. Another night, she saw Max, older, limping, covered in ash. He looked at her with sad eyes and vanished. Then came the final dream. She was on a rooftop, looking down at Maplewood burning. The sky was crimson. The buildings twisted, melting like wax. A shadow loomed behind her. A voice she didn't recognize whispered, you brought it home. She woke up screaming. That morning, her mom found the gold ring sitting on the kitchen table. Weird jewelry, she said. Where'd this come from? Sarah's heart sank. She hadn't moved it. Something had. Sarah knew she had to return to the gazebo, to the first ring, to end whatever she'd started. That night, flashlight in hand, she returned to the park. It was cold, windy. Max stayed by her side. The gazebo, the ground was bare. No glowing ring. No light. She stood there, unsure. Then Max barked. Behind the trees stood a figure. Her figure. Same face. Same clothes. But darker. Paler. Eyes that didn't blink. Sarah stepped forward. The other her didn't move. Then spoke. You opened the door. Now you have to close it. How? Sarah whispered. The other her held out a third ring. Black. No symbol. You'll know when it's time. Then vanished. The next morning, Sarah awoke with the black ring on her pillow. No dream. No sound. Just silence. But she felt different. Lighter. As if a storm had passed. Her sketchbook sat open on her desk. The latest drawing wasn't hers. It showed her and Max in the park smiling. Above them, the sky was blue. No fire. No shadow. Just peace.